thank you for having me here today. Last time I was doing this, I had a tablet which dropped on the ground and smashed the screen, so it made a quite short presentation, so I made sure I got a rubber case this time. This is something I'm really passionate about, as I believe it is that the future of the rural sector relies on it. I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about my story. Then I'll talk about why connectivity is the key to attracting staff, and then finish with how I think we can solve the problem. I grew up at Island Hill Station, a high country station where we are still 20 minutes away from cell reception, 20 minutes on a shingle road, and where our closest neighbour is 4 kilometres away. I live there with my wife Mandy and my 2 children, and we have 3 staff. I moved to Christchurch at a young age and studied design and marketing at Otago. I then moved to Sydney, where I worked as a web and graphic designer and doing some basic programming. Actually, one of the projects that I worked on was called GLOW, Global Learning Opportunity on the Web, where we were trying to bridge the digital divide into Manila in the Philippines. Then September 11 came along and things became difficult, and I ended up moving home to start a walking track business on our farm with my wife. When we started this walking track business, we had dial-up. We had to wake up at midnight to send emails, replies to people making bookings. When asked how we could increase our speed, I was told to drive down the road with an AM radio on, listen for the clicking, and then go in and tell the farmers that they need to fix their electric fence earths. I could have even kept my job in Sydney if we'd had high-speed broadband at this stage. And then came AmuriNet. Started by Chris Roberts and his wife, dairy farmers from Culverden, who got sick of waiting but had the expertise and experience to start a Wi-Fi network that is reliable, fast and reasonably priced. This changed our life forever. Our walking track business took off as we were able to do marketing, take bookings, updates, and the money that this created for the community was reasonably significant. We would have people fly from all over the country to walk our walking track, then to fly home, or move on to Hanmer Springs, and we would do 3,000 bed nights. And then in 2012, we won the Balanced Farm Environment Awards. We started a honey business, recruiting people off the internet, changed our farming business, planning maps, ag DNA, health and safety. We also employ casual staff, and with the 3 that we have at home currently, I asked them, and they said they would have not come if we didn't have Wi-Fi. And now our software company, On Farm Innovations. 6 guys in 5 countries who every week talk on Skype from Northern Ireland, Lithuania, Australia, and 2 in the States. We all do video Skype for an hour on a Monday. We use Slack, Bitbucket, Google Drive, and Jira, and it's all only possible because of our Wi-Fi connection. So it is this that has got us to where we are today. So why is not having connectivity, why does it make it so difficult to attract staff? It's not FOMO, and for those that don't know, FOMO is the fear of missing out, but it's what I'm dubbing as rural FOMO, which is the fear of missing out on finding out what they are missing out on. So I sat down with my worker and asked him what it was about rural connectivity that made the job attractive. Apart from the fact that we are developing data collection software for farming, which really focuses on what he wants to do, it's also the social network and all the other things, which leads on to what we've always known. It's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The difference is that nowadays you have to be connected in order to enable the hierarchy to work. Self-actualization, Google, WordPress, Facebook, Messenger, stuff. Esteem, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Belonging, Google Hangouts, Facebook. Safety, cloud storage, LinkedIn. Psychological, physiological, maybe Tinder. Job listings. They're also, listing Wi-Fi is one of the most important things, even higher, which for a farmer is really difficult, than drought safe, regular fertilizer application, and a Hughes 500 helicopter. No longer is it okay in a rural community to attract people without Wi-Fi. Farming too has changed. No longer are we looking at the average, but actually animals on an individual basis. This means genetics, inputs and management, combined with the environment that we live in, and all of this while requiring data collection and analysis. And we have to have a good connection, a Wi-Fi connection, all the time. The staff have changed too. Connectivity, plus a social network, and a pay rate, of course. Considering the farm environment, including type, that's where we get away with a bit of pay rate, because we've got a few other options on our high country farm. Infrastructure and management. This is now what rural livability looks like. Allowing the opportunity, not the isolation. Google is now a verb. It's not something that you have, it's something you do. An example of connectivity combined with the right tools in another country. And this is an important point, because it's fine to just have connectivity, but if you don't have the right tools, then there's no point having it in the first place. It's just that. It's like a cell phone. Once you've got a cell phone, a smartphone, you start using it, you use the tools, and you want more, and you want more. M-Pesa, for those that don't know, it's in Kenya. It was started by Vodafone in 2007. And it's a way of paying each other using your phone. And then you can cash in the money at designated M-Pesa shops. Well, in the first 6 months, they had 1.2 million users, which was the tipping point for exponential growth, which led M-Pesa to having over 15 million users in 12 months and turning over 20% of the GDP of Kenya. But the point I want to make is that these are people that are poor, reasonably uneducated, but yet it just shows that if you've got the tools and you've got the connectivity, people will adopt the technology that's there. So where to from here? Well, Amy Adams wants to make it so that we can have 99% of people can have 50 megabits per second. And Minister Nathan Guy wants us to have double the export value, and I'm pleased that Terry pointed that out, because it really annoys me when people say that it's just double the exports, because that's a really important point. He wants that happen. But what these two really, really need to work out is that these two are directly connected. As if these two don't work together, neither of them will achieve their goals. I went on to the Ministry of Business and Innovation website to look up RBI and do a bit of research for this. And when you get to online farms, there's a wee statement there. However, there is a wide range of support for getting your farm connected. Check out Vodafone, Chorus and Crown Fibre Holdings. Well, I clicked on Crown Fibre Holdings and it said, not found. Sorry, but you are looking for something that isn't here. Well, this is how the rural community in many parts feels. I asked Nathan Guy a year ago this question, and he said that industry and government will have to work together to achieve our ambitious export goals. I completely agree with this. So, to those in positions of influence, you need to ensure that you keep your ear to the ground and listen to the grassroots. Because like with grass, the agricultural industry can only grow as much as its most limiting factor. It is our connectivity which is currently our most limiting factor. Delivering 50 megabits of broadband to all, including rural households in remote communities, and doubling the value of exports is the goal. I know that you've done this before, but can you put up your hands, the farmers that are living in remote areas again? These are the grassroots. These are the guys you've got to ask. We need to empower the companies that are currently delivering the results. The ones that are agile and that can move now, RBI too needs to include the little guys as well, as they will be the ones that keep our young people in the rural community. They will be the ones responsible for delivering 50 megabits per second to 99% of rural households, and in the interim, responsible for the doubling of value of exports by 2025. I'm not saying that the work by the large telcos are doing is not extraordinarily important. I'm saying that we need a multifaceted approach if we are going to achieve the goals we're looking for. Good business needs good staff needs good connectivity. We now need know what we need to do. Now we've just got to do it. Thank you.